What's good, YouTube? This video is going to be about how to handle an ex that's come back years after they discarded you. That was the question I got on Instagram. I'm still reading questions periodically from my last Instagram post. So if you want to add to that list of questions that I could address, go to the Instagram post that says comment video suggestions down below. With that said, that was the question. How to handle an ex years after they come back after they've discarded you. I'm gonna be quite honest. The word discarded to me when I read that, it makes it sound like they just up and left. They vanished. They ghosted you. Or they just treated you like trash and made you feel thrown away. The issue with handling them at all is that you run the risk of hurting yourself again or being hurt or allowing them to hurt you again. Sometimes when people remove themselves from our lives, they've done us a favor. Sometimes the worst thing we can do is try to get back what was lost in a person who didn't appreciate who we were to begin with. Now he's left you, he's discarded you, he's went to go find himself, as a lot of women used to say, and he's come back to you because he didn't find what he was looking for, or he's realized that he had something much better than he thought he did. He wasn't able to replace you. His wandering eyes didn't serve him well when he was free enough to go find that perfect woman who doesn't exist. So again, how to handle your ex who discarded you years ago, who's now trying to get back into your life. That depends very much on, again, if what you mean by discarded was kind of a disrespectful breakup. Was it a toxic breakup? Was it a harmful breakup? Was it intentionally harmful? Some men literally just throw women away, right? And some women do that to guys, but some people literally just throw their spouses away. They just forget about them. They just put them down. Spouse comes home from work and they're single again. Had no idea what was coming. Other spouses slowly and intentionally just let the things that they preserved in the relationship start to die. They stop doing good things for you. They stop answering your phone calls. They stop communicating. They stop trying. They stop having sex with you. And they start to put those things into other people. Most of the time, if someone's discarding you, a lot of times it's because someone else has caught their eye or they've started something on the side. And that person is getting all that affection, all that love, all that attention that you were getting. You start to look a little bit like an old pair of shoes to someone. And that's why a lot of times it feels like you're being discarded or thrown away and you don't know why or what's happening. It's generally because someone else is getting those things and now you're being deprived of them, because people only have so much energy. There's only so much time in the day. And if someone has that energy to give, they're going to give it to the new shiny thing that they've brought into their lives. So I don't know if your ex discarded you by finding another woman, by leaving you for another woman. I don't know if your ex discarded you by just allowing the relationship to die because he got bored and he, was single for a while and dated around. I don't know what the situation was, but I know if it left you feeling discarded, then it probably wasn't a good break and it probably wasn't a healthy break. So because of that, we have to deal with the effect, right? Not necessarily the intention of that guy, but what was the effect of his actions? If his actions left you feeling discarded and he has the propensity to do that, do you really want to risk letting him do that again? So many people are going back to their toxic exes because they don't have anything right now. They're bored right now or they're lonely right now. But going back to a bad situation simply because it's a situation isn't a good idea. Way too many people starting things back up with their ex. A few of my clients are starting things back up with their ex against, my better judgment and against even my advice. But starting things up with exes that were not equipped the first time and they're not equipped this time to give a healthy relationship. If someone's your ex, they're your ex for a reason. Have those things been remedied? Have those issues that you had in your relationship been solved through their evolution while they were gone away from you? Have you evolved while they were gone away from you? Have you grown into two different people, two better people, two more mature, more capable people, capable of loving more healthy, capable of loving more independently and interdependently? What have you done with the time away from each other? In most cases, not enough. Not enough to get a different result. If your ex made you feel discarded, you specifically, think about what caused the breakup. How did he exit your life? If he was in fact malicious or indifferent to you emotionally, was he disrespectful? Did he cheat? Did he ghost you? The how of it all is very important in this situation. Some people break up and they're two good people who mean well, but they just meet at different times of their lives, right? They go away from each other, they grow into different people, they develop new skills, new communication methods, and then they come back and realize that they're more compatible now having grown up a bit. But there are other people who haven't grown, haven't evolved, haven't become better people. And if a man who hasn't grown or hasn't evolved but has just gotten bored with the women that he's sleeping with, or have ran out of prospects, and he knows that he can get love in a familiar place and he'd rather do that than be alone, comes back to you, you have no business at all talking to your ex. Too many people, like I said, are getting back together because they've run out of prospects, or they're bored, or they're lonely. That is not enough of a reason to get back in a toxic relationship. If your ex has shown that he doesn't know how to communicate in the past, that he's not trustworthy in the past, that he can't be depended upon in the past, that he's irresponsible, and he gets back with you and he's still exhibiting those same things, move on immediately. But I wouldn't want you to get back with him in the first place. Try to make sure that a person has evolved from who they were the first time before you touch them, before you even get yourself into a position where you're looking to, ask a dating coach if you should get back with them. Right. That means you've been in contact with him. If you're contemplating it, it likely means that you've been in contact with him and you're being softened up to the idea. Well, who is he? Who is he now that he wasn't then? What has he become? Because if he's still the same type of guy who could make you feel discarded, he runs the risk of doing so much more damage this time simply because you have less time to waste now. I would imagine you're older if what happened years ago. I would imagine you have less time to waste in trying to figure out who to add to your life if you're looking for a life partner that can be trusted. Now, not only is he wasting finite time, but he can also hurt you again. Why a person is your ex is the biggest question to ask. Again, if any of those reasons are toxic, if any of it was malicious, if any of it was very damaging and very indifferent to you emotionally, if he was uncaring about you and inconsiderate about how he affected you, if he did it repeatedly, if there were habits and patterns formed, not just one particular event or behavior, if the person he was allowed him to do that with a clear conscience, then I doubt that he's become a different enough person that it could work this time. So when a toxic ex comes back, leave them where they are. Don't respond to them. Don't start it up again. No matter how lonely you are, please just go find new energy, a new person with new intentions. But if you've observed him closely enough and he has changed, like who he is as a man has changed, he's grown into his masculine role and his responsibilities. If he's evolved as a person and you've seen that first, instead of just see him asking you for another relationship, but if you've seen his evolution first, then you may be able to consider it. So it just depends on how you broke up and what he has become since you broke up. So her question was how to handle that and what to say to that ex when he comes back. Well, if he was a piece of shit, don't say anything. Don't respond. He discarded you? Pretend like you didn't hear the question. Pretend like you didn't get the DM or the email or the text message. If he was a decent enough person and you just didn't click in a few areas, but it wasn't necessarily toxic, and he left you respectfully, with dignity and consideration and honesty, then have the conversation if you want. But again, it all depends on how he left you. Anyway, that's all I got for now. Follow me at KFIC24 on Instagram. If you want one-on-one coaching, you can go to girltalkwithguys.com to get that. I do half-hour consultations, hour-long consultations, hour-long video calls, and I even have a voice memo package for people who need a little bit more coaching throughout the month. With that said, have a blessed day. I'll get with y'all later.